Good day, everyone, and thanks for joining us on today's program, Leadership Dialogue. I'm Udo Evelyn Udeme, and here with me is my co host, Mrs. Cecilia Meme.
Thank you.
And we also have in the house the chairman of the Green Community, Mr. John Friday. And we have our guest in the house, Dr. Obichi Obiajonwa. Sorry, sir, if I didn't pronounce your name properly. He is a public physician, innovation consultant, a serial entrepreneur with over a decade of experience in global health strategy and innovation leadership, an executive director of Hutzpah Innovation, the founder of the Young Innovation Leaders Fellowship. Thank you, sir, for joining us to the program.
The pleasure is mine. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, sir. Sir, can you kindly tell us about the Young Innovation Leadership Fellowship, and also what inspires you and what motivated you to go into this empowerment?
Okay, thank you very much. Young Innovation Leaders Fellowship, YL, was founded in 2018. It's a platform designed specifically to train and mentor young professionals on how to inspire, initiate, manage, and lead innovation within their spheres of influence. The idea really is to train young people who can begin to look into their communities, identify problems, and build up solutions to those problems. There is a way to solve problems, and this is what we're training young people, young professionals to do.
That's
Wonderful.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. All right, so can you kindly tell us about the 7th-year anniversary we're looking for that is coming up? And what are some of the milestones that stand out for you? And how has the landscape of your young youth development in the African involved over the years?
Okay, a couple of questions you've asked. Yeah, so for us, yes, this year is our 7th year anniversary, and it's been a journey. It's been a journey. Started it off in 2018, and that was just in Nigeria, right? But today we have affected and we have people we have trained from over 30 African countries.
Okay.
A number of partnerships, and it's been amazing. We've built solutions of almost 50 of such, and some of them are different levels of commercialization. Some are already in the marketplace as we speak. Now, these are some of the interesting milestones. The other question you asked was,
How has the landscape for youth development in Africa evolved over the years?
how has it been? If you look at Africa, we are a continent of young people. We're a young continent. Nothing much has evolved other than the fact that we have a lot to still achieve when it comes to the young people. Unemployment is still a problem, and it affects young people. Young people. We have seen now that young people in Africa are looking for greener pastures. They're looking for opportunities, and they don't see enough of those opportunities within their countries in Africa. We have not been able as leaders to show them these opportunities. Now, what is happening is you see them moving out of Africa, going to other places they perceive that have these opportunities. And this is something that has been evolving over time. And we see they trained more persons leaving Nigeria, leaving Ghana, leaving their countries, moving out to Western countries to just find a living, apart from schooling, but to find a living. In the YL Fellowship, we teach them to solve problems within their communities, and not just be persons who would consume solutions that some other person has designed in their own countries, thinking that this is a way to solve the problems that we own. Now, this is a mindset we keep giving to these young people. Find a problem, solve it, because nobody can effectively solve your problem for you.
Yeah, that's correct.
Right? So now when they do that, it's a way we have gotten to also get them to stay back in the country. Because when you have a solution here, that makes sense. A typical example is one of the solutions that we're launching out now, CarbonX, is a clean tech company. And what these guys have done is they're into carbon trading and all of those stuff. Now, the young chaps that are driving this do not really have any reason to leave Nigeria. They don't. They don't. Because they have created a solution to solve a problem that is typical to Nigeria. So, for what reason would they leave?
You're correct.
Right. So one of the things we're doing in the YL fellowship is also to retain our best talents right here.
Wow, that's
Build that bridge between the university education that they've gotten and then the marketplace. And when we have all these guys right here, if they would go to travel, if they go to get a master's, we try to let them know that they can come back here, having been trained at skill. Personally, I've been around, getting education, but I'm back here modeling what the attitude should be, really. Yeah.
Okay, so doctor, this is actually what we are all about here at LJE Nigeria. Leadership hub, justice and economic advancement. You see, that economic advancement is actually something we are currently working on to see how we can even let the youths understand that making money, it's just finding a problem to solve, and we have enough problems back home.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, and that means to have a lot of money back home. Okay, but then how has it been for you? Because I've engaged some youths and I've had some conversations, and most of them, even with the most brilliant ideas, even with what we are doing here at LJE Nigeria, will have issues. They have, just like we have issues with maybe funding,
Right.
and how to even breathe before these ideas, these problems become like the solutions have been completely built and maybe pushed into the market, and then they're able to even earn a living from. How is there any way? Are there organizations out there looking out for youths like us, people, Nigerians like us, Africans like us, who actually want to stay at home and solve these problems, considering the limitations you have, of course, here,
Yeah.
as per accessing funds,
Right.
accessing amenities, and all of that?
Okay, thank you for that question.
Yeah.
Yes, funding is a thing.
Yes.
It's a factor when you want to build a solution. It's something we cannot deny.
Yeah.
But I like to say that funding is not the first thing.
Okay.
It's not the first thing you look at. The first thing you look at is to ask yourself, do I have a problem that I want to solve? All right. Am I passionate about solving this problem? Because the kind of thing I do, I've seen young people, they're solving a problem, they get funding, and then they use that money and japa. And then forget about abandon that.
Whatever it was,
Because there was really no vision, there was no passion, and there was actually no vision.
vision.
Okay.
Yes. So they used it as just a means of attracting funds, and that is deception.
Yeah.
Right. So the first thing is to identify a problem to solve.
Okay.
Craft a vision around that.
All right.
Very important. When you do that, then people would really want to fund your vision. And that is one thing we need to understand. When we understand that there is a problem to solve and I have seen a solution to that problem, and I've been able to see, yes, there is a problem solution fit. Yes. And there is also a market that is willing to absorb this solution, right? Meaning there is a solution market fit in that sense, product market fit in that sense. Then the next question as to, okay, how do I then scale this would arise? And there are a couple of ways in which we can get this funding. One of which is you yourself.
Okay.
Yes, there is something you can do yourself to get the funding we will require, right, to fund yourself. We call it bootstrapping. If you don't believe in your idea enough to fund it,
Yeah.
even if it's with 10,000 naira,
Yeah.
nobody else is qualified to believe in it. So you start by investing yourself, investing in life, and then investing the little savings you have. Even if it's 10,000, 50,000 naira to register it as a business name, start from there. If someone asks you, yes, I've invested something. Apart from my time, I've invested my 10,000 naira savings.
Yeah.
Right? Let's start from there. That's bootstrapping. Then the next one is family and friends.
Okay.
Yes, my brothers, my siblings, my parents should believe in me enough to give in something,
Support.
Yeah.
right?
Support your dream.
Yes, to support that. That is one of the ways. And then there are also people that we're gonna meet, and then they will just believe in what we're doing because they look into our eyes, they see the passion, they see the fire, and they want to say, yes, I want to invest in this, I want to support this idea, right? So there are such persons. And you know what? They're going to make this decision without data. They're going to make this decision without evidence.
Yeah.
And these are people who call fools. Yes.
Yeah.
Positive fools, right?
Okay.
They're going to make this decision.
Yeah. Without really having
And
to
then
check.
believe you're going to
Yeah.
find such people. I've seen a number of such people in my career, in my journey.
Yeah.
They just see you talking about what you want to do and they give you money to support that.
Yeah.
All right.
Right?
Tim.
Good. So then we have a couple of other ways you can get money. We have investors now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? It's better I own one leg of an elephant than own the whole of an ant.
Exactly.
Yes. So I rather now say, is this a great idea? I find someone who has the money
Yeah.
and who is looking to multiply this money while solving a cause, right? Then, we partner. The person brings the money. I bring my time. I bring my expertise. I bring my idea and I drive it. By the end of the day, it's a win-win for everyone. And these are called investors. You have angel investors and you have institutional investors. That's the venture capitalists.
But this brings me to the next question. Before we go on a short break, what were the challenges that you faced in getting young people to engage with your initiative? How were you able to overcome them?
Yes, so it's just the same thing I'm talking about, right? If you have a vision, it has to show in you, right? That passion needs to be there because I've made the sacrifice myself. So it was easy for them to make the sacrifice or believe in me. Being a medical doctor and having studied and got into master's degrees from abroad, it was, and then you're back in Nigeria trying to preach the gospel of innovation. Most young people will believe you.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, most young people will believe.
All right, thank you, sir, for this wonderful information. We'll be going on a short break and we'll join you guys shortly. Thank you.
Okay, this is the pool bar lounge. We also have the swimming pool access and also have the indoor lounge as well. They also have the chair stand and the barbecue stand with great atmosphere where you can relax and also enjoy the live band when it plays in the night. So join me, let me take you into the main lounge so you can see where the reception is. Let's go. So this is the waiting room for a reception. Come with me, let me show you the main reception. So this is the reception. This is where we welcome all our in-house guests. This is where we welcome people that are coming in as well as come and make inquiry and also check in our guests. We also have a mini elevator also in the reception. Okay, this is also the gym where we'll have like lovely equipment, very handy. You can come and build up your muscle with the gym instructor that is always ready to have you on. Also have a very beautiful restaurant where you can come sit in and have your meal, both for in-house guests and also out-house guests that are coming in. But let's come and try a special delicacy from Trent's Hotel. Okay, this is the ambassadorial suite, one of our rooms. Why don't you come in? Let me show you the remaining part of the rooms. Okay, this is the exclusive room where we have one of the best beds in the whole world. Okay, this is the business royal, one of the best rooms we'll have in the hotel as well. You're welcome to see your room. Okay, we also have the outdoor bar and we also have the rooftop bar. This is a rooftop bar where most of our clients want to just come and relax in the evening and see the beautiful view of Abuja.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Before we went on a short break, we were discussing on the challenges that have been faced. So, Dr. Obichi, I would like to ask you another question. The youth development is a broad field. What specific area do you believe are the most crucial for youth Africans today? Is it the education, the entrepreneurship, the leadership, or others?
Okay, thank you so much for that question.
You're welcome.
I think all of them are interrelated and connected. There is no separation. When you talk about education,
Okay.
you're talking about leadership or you're talking about entrepreneurship, they're all interwoven. In the Young Innovation Leaders Fellowship, what we do is train these young people to become innovation leaders, problem solvers. And in doing that, we give them education,
Okay.
right? And while doing that, we give them the problems to solve, or we help them identify problems to solve, right? Whereby they apply the education we keep giving to them, coupled with the training they got while in the university to solve the problem, right? And then that is what entrepreneurship is about. Because then they take the solutions they've gotten and they move it to the marketplace, identifying people who have these problems to solve their problem. That's entrepreneurship. That's using their education to solve a problem, right? In order to get value in return. And that is really what entrepreneurship is about. And then you talk about leadership. So in the process of solving this problem, scaling their solution, they recruit talents, they build their team,
Yeah.
right? That process is also what leadership, right? So I think the process of entrepreneurship is all encompassing. The process of training your people to become innovators is all encompassing. You're training them to become entrepreneurs, you're training them to become leaders, and you're training them to acquire the education that is relevant for this age.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Dr. Obichi, this brings me to the next question. What role does partnership play, and how can LJE as an organization and you partner in the pursuit of youth empowerment, and how can we work together to contribute to the organization's mission?
Well, so there is only so much you can achieve without partnership.
Okay.
All we have achieved so far in the Wire Fellowship is just mere partnership. That is a secret,
Okay.
right? Yes, nobody knows it all. Nobody has all the resource. Nobody has all the grace. Basically, you basically would have to work with other people that your visions align. Basically, so with the leadership hub, I see a lot of partnership points. Just the fact that you even have a studio, this beautiful studio,
All right.
is where to start from, because you're talking about leadership. You create a platform to disseminate this information, to communicate to the public. That is one way in which we can partner. We have a lot of young people that are talented who want to also, who are experts in some fields, who need a platform, right? So I believe that is one of the ways, the communication, the building up the narratives, how the positive narratives to empower young people and to educate them. That is one way in which we can partner.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So we also build solutions.
Okay.
Yes. And when we build these solutions, they require that communication. They require to be promoted, and you already have a beautiful, platform. For example, we have created a mental health platform,
Wow.
theragist.com.
Okay.
Yes. So the philosophy is that every one of us can become therapists through our gisting.
Okay. Oh, Terra Gist.
Yeah, that's
it.
theragist.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So now what's going on there is that we bring in persons that have conquered some mental health conditions. We ask them, how did you go through this process? How did you overcome this mental health issue, right? They tell their stories. Now, with those stories are products in themselves. And those stories can help some other person who is going through a similar situation.
Yeah.
Yes. We need also a platform to spread that, to spread those news, to spread those products,
Yeah.
stories,
Yeah.
right? Those unique stories. So there are many ways in which we are capable. You are a leadership platform. Yes, and what we're doing is we're creating innovation leaders, people that will go out there and take up a particular niche, a particular sphere, and become leaders in that sphere.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. We create building up leaders,
Yes.
who would champion leadership in our different institutions across the continent. And with you here, it just aligns, right? So there are many ways in which we are partner to say the truth.
All right.
Okay. But I think I also got wind of the fact that one of the things you are very good at is also this issue of grant application. I don't know. Is there any information that you think would help organizations out there that you think would assist in funding? Because you earlier mentioned funding,
That
and maybe we're not able to get there. But I don't know if there's anything you feel you can share, because there are a lot of people out there that they don't even have access to that information. Why some of them they do have that access, but they do not even know how to go about it. What information do you think you can give to them in pursuit of
All right.
that direction?
That's a good question. I actually was going to answer it before we went on short break.
Okay,
The short break.
okay.
But one of the ways to fund your idea is through grants.
Okay.
And what is a grant? A grant is basically someone who has money saying, I believe in your vision. Someone deciding to fund your vision. And that is a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful thing. First of all, beyond the money, it validates your idea.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And these days, we need that validation.
Yeah.
So there are ways in which we can get hold of these grants. In my career, I've won some grants, really, both locally and internationally. And I would say that the first thing you need to have is a compelling vision.
Okay.
Yes, because that's where it starts from, right? You need to be able to have that vision, identify a problem that is worth solving, right? Identify a problem that is worth solving, come up with a compelling solution to solve, an elegant solution to solve that problem. Identify a people who are in their need of that problem, and think about a suitable channel to deliver your solution to those people. Once you have this in place, you're ready to be funded. Now, the next question becomes, okay, now that I have a good idea, I have identified a problem, I have a good idea, I have a people who need it. What is the money to solve it? How much do I need to, solve this problem, deliver my solution? When you identify that, you then ask yourself, what organizations are out there who share my kind of vision, who want to support this kind of thing? The internet is there. You just Google and search out those particular kinds of organizations. When you do that, there are now a number of things that you must pay attention to. Number one is that you need to have a structure, because nobody wants to give money to someone that would use their money and do
Some family problems.
exactly solve their own personal problems, right? So you want to have a structure, a governance structure, right? If it's an NGO, board of trustees, you need to have a team and things like that. Build a structure for your organization. That is something that is very important. The next thing you want to do, of course, is to be able to tell your story in a way that is quite
Compelling.
and
Okay.
compelling.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you want to be able to tell your story. Some people have great ideas, but they don't know how to communicate those ideas.
Yeah.
Yes. So you want to be able to, communicate your idea and all of that. And the next thing is you want to show data that in your backyard you have tried to do something at some level, and it has worked to some degree. Now, if I would get your money, then I can do so much more.
Okay. So that will be traction, eh?
Yeah. So you want to, be able to give us some data. Give us some data about your traction, your area traction. That is very important to get the donor to know that, look, this guy is serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this guy is serious. Let's support him to do more. So also, then you want to be able to talk about your track record. So if someone has given you money before, what did you do with that money? Because then you can build on your successes.
Yeah.
And that is very important. You can build on your successes. The next thing is sustainability. The funding landscape today globally has changed with Trump.
Okay.
coming in. There's really no free food like that.
Yeah, anywhere.
So what you're going to do is to make sure you have a business model that in itself sustainable.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So even if you're doing an NGO, without funding, how would that NGO run in the first instance? It has to have some sustainability. So when that is there, then someone can then give you some money in order to build up and scale up what you're doing.
Okay.
We're not talking about making profits. We're
Yeah.
talking about even making surplus and being able to pay your bills, right, in order to remain in business. So that is the sustainability I'm trying to explain here. You have to figure that out. Don't rely completely on someone else's money. You don't have an idea in that
Yeah.
sense, and there is no innovation in that sense, right? Yes. So these are some of the things you want to make sure are in place, right? And you have a great team to work with you and drive. So this is the way to go about it.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
you start applying. You start applying.
Yeah.
The first one, you may not get it. Yes. Go around, apply for the next one. For
Alright.
every one you don't get, it just prepares you to get the next one.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Yeah.
So, Dr. Obichi, as a medical doctor, what advice do you have for young people who are struggling through stress, mental health, mental health issues?
Terragist, right?
Yes.
Is it
So,
right? Is it terragist?
therapist, yes.
Yeah.
So the thing is this, it's difficult for you to be in Nigeria and you don't have some mental. Yeah, you are just young people, but all of us we need that advice because we go through some stress and sometimes we don't realize that these mere depression, anxiety, these are all mental health conditions
Issues.
are different, spectrum and levels scale. So the thing there is own up to it.
Okay.
First of all, you need to know that, look, I'm going through stress. Because when you don't know that, when you don't know you're going through any mental stress or condition, it's difficult to help you, to seek help.
That's true.
First of all, identify and own up to the fact that, look, I need help. I'm going through stuff at this point in my life, right? I need help. That's the first thing to tell yourself, right? The second thing is to seek help then, right? And there is actually help, however, and that is the mission of therapists, for example, to make sure that help for mental health is democratized, that people can be able to access it
To have
anywhere.
access to it.
Right? Good. So now you're able to seek help. Seek help. Don't die in silence. They say that problem shared is half solved.
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
Yeah. So seek for help. That is one thing I'm going to advise. Seek for help. There is actually help out there if you seek it. The Bible says that what? Ask, you shall be given. Seek. So that's it. If you seek for help, you shall.
We should get help. Okay,
Okay,
that's great.
just a very quick one before the next question. But Obichi, this is going to be a bit specific, all right? Because I sit here on behalf of the membership of the LJE. We have members scattered all over the country.
Okay.
And we have so many interesting events that just last week we concluded our free blogging, professional blogging class that we had. Nigerians login. It was hybrid. Some came to our offline location and then some joined online. So we have all of these things coming on. Okay.
You're right.
We want to know like how soon can we expect these partnerships with a body like YIL Fellowship?
Yeah.
Because we believe that there is a lot to give out there.
There's also terragist. Don't
There's
forget.
still therapists, and I'm sure that there are
There are a lot
plenty
more.
So we want to really start because here we love implementation.
Amazing.
People are waiting.
Amazing.
We have lots of persons all over waiting for us to get them engaged here. So how soon
That's
do we,
beautiful.
do we
Okay.
expect?
So thank you so much for that question.
Yeah.
I'm a value creation expert. I believe in solving problems.
Okay.
And there are ways to solve problems, systematically. So I think that one of the things we should be telling our young people is engaging them to solve the many problems we have in the country. We should not be expecting our political leaders to solve all the problems,
Sure.
right? Good. Now, Having said that,
Yeah.
we are ready to start right now.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Yes,
Thank
we are
you
ready to
very much.
start right
Stop
now.
as soon as possible.
Even with, I'm very proactive.
Yeah.
Even with, so we have the value creation network.
Okay.
So this is something we can really get started with.
Okay.
We build up a community,
All right.
and then we try to train them on how to scale their ideas, transform their ideas to real solutions out there. And those that have SMEs already, how do you scale that?
All right.
How do you scale that? How do you build up your idea such that more people can benefit from that idea? How do you help more people? How do you scale that idea that you have started working on? This is something we can be doing the value creation network, help people to solve problems and scale those solutions.
All right.
beautiful.
That's beautiful.
It's helping.
Yeah, right. Thank you, sir, for the information. So, sir, if you could give an advice to the young Africans, what will you have to advise them that will help them achieve their dream, their success, and their fulfillment?
Yes. First is avoid distractions.
Okay.
We have a lot of distractions, and my experience with young people is they are easily distracted, and you really don't blame them. But avoid distractions. But how do you avoid distractions? Because that is an advice that is so difficult to keep. How do you avoid distractions? The way to avoid distractions is to know what you're here for.
Exactly.
You're a young person today, very soon you become an old person.
Yes.
You think you have time, you really quite don't have time. So the thing is, find out your purpose. Why are you here? If you don't know why you're here, give yourself a reason. While you're pursuing that one you have given yourself, the divine one will come.
True.
But be busy doing something,
Solving a problem.
solving a problem. Find the reason why you're here. Your purpose in life is always tied to a problem. That's one thing. That's one of the easy ways to your purpose.
Yeah.
What you're here to do is always tied to a problem, right? One. Second is that it's also tied to some of the giftings that are innate. So what talents do you have? What are the things that are shouting out, begging for expression, right? And make a list of those. Connect it to a problem that you want to solve. Build up passion around it. You have a purpose, right? So then start pursuing that. Start pursuing that. Then shut down of all of that distraction. Any other thing is a distraction. If you're going to get a degree, it should be around the boundaries of that problem you want to solve. If you want to get a master's, it should be around the boundaries of that problem you want to solve, around that your purpose. And one interesting thing about vision is, as you keep solving a problem, building up solutions, it keeps expanding. Life is like a revolving door. You get to this point tomorrow, you now find out there is another route to get into the point where you wanted to get to. So it's something I say, keep moving.
Yeah.
Don't stop.
Don't stop.
Keep
Yeah.
moving. Keep moving. As you keep moving, success is not necessarily a destination. It's the journey itself, right? So my advice would be simple. Identify a problem worth solving, identify your purpose, build up your passion around it, and keep moving.
Thank you. That was absolutely beautiful. Yeah, that's all. That's all we have for Dr. Obichi.
Thank you.
That's all for now.
Oh, yes, for now.
So short a podcast.
We'll always have more.
Thank you, Dr. Obichi, for joining us on today's program. My co-host and Green Community Chairman,
Thank
Dr. John Friday, and our viewers. Bye for now.
Thank you.